Hello, family and friends. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Cody. Well, as you can tell, I'm back home in front of my wolf painting on the wall. We're back in the States, in Greeley. Thought I'd try to put some closure to the Philippine trip and talk about a few things and share some information with you. Maybe give you a reason why I'm there visiting and quite possibly, and it's not quite possibly, it is going to be a move that I'm going to make. I've made the decision to move to the Philippines, and I'll talk about that in a bit. So I also have some video that I took of some more lowland flooding, some Americanized businesses, and talk a little bit more about that. Talk a little bit about the flight, maybe some of the things that I could prepare you for if you were going to make a trip to the Philippines on a vacation. Heck, maybe even consider coming and visiting. But anyway, first, I think I'll start by telling you that this was actually my second trip to the Philippines. I went back because when I was there the first time, I met a wonderful family that treated me like family. I was considered by a brother, or as a big brother to some, but certainly a brother to siblings. They call me Papa Tim. Those are the grandchildren, and you've seen most of them in previous videos and pictures that I've showed you. But I'll talk a little bit about that as well. First of all, let's go ahead and say, how did I get started in the interest in the Philippines? Well, it was through YouTube. Did a lot of watching YouTube. Thought about some things about how things were going here in the States. I don't really care for the political climate right now. Money-wise, the economic status is not very good. I just wanted to explore some things over there that quite possibly would better my life. I know that not everybody's going to be happy with the decision that I've made. Certainly I've got family that wish me the best, but I know deep down inside they were second guessing. I've relieved some of that pressure and thought processes, especially the medical. With me being a diabetic and having a little medical history, that was one of their main concerns. Well, it was mine too. But I kept running into Filipino nurses here. I don't think I've met a doctor that's Philippines, but I know that I've personally had at least 3 of them work with me in the hospitals during some of my stays there. So I did know that it's possible that the medical situation in the Philippines wasn't as bad as maybe people thought. And when I Googled and also watched some YouTubes, it kind of piqued my interest. Actually, that was one of the purposes for going over there, was to do some exploratory investigation and see how serious I was about wanting to move and if it was overall a possibility. And through my process of going over there and discovering some things and doing some more research, it's very feasible, and I'm going to make the move. I would say that if you're going to do your research, certainly one of the things you want to look at is the flight. It's going to be, depending on where you leave from, like from Denver, there was a 2-flight connection. The first time I went from Denver to Vancouver on Air Canada, and from there we flew to Bangkok, Thailand, and then from there we went to Manila. This time I flew on Alaskan Air. That went from Denver to Seattle, Seattle to Taipei and Taiwan, and then we made a change there and flew to Clark Air Force Base, the old Army Air Force Base in the Philippines during World War II and later on for a while. They've turned that into an international airport, and it's a lot easier to get around in Clark, I'll tell you, than Manila. So if you were thinking about flying over there, there's really three major areas: the Clark Airport, the Manila Airport, and then further to the south in the province of Visayas, you're going to run into Cebu. So those are the three major areas that you fly into from the States. There is a direct flight if you go to Los Angeles and make a connection there from Los Angeles. I think you can go straight to the Philippines. Don't quote me on that, but I haven't researched that very much, but it is probably the only place that you can. You fly out of San Francisco as well, but I think the connection there, you fly to Incheon, South Korea. So just a couple of places to connect. I think you can also connect through Tokyo. That long flight across the Pacific Ocean is and can be a killer. For me, with my diabetes and the neuropathy that I had in my feet and swelling I had to worry about, I certainly wore compression socks. They recommend compression socks for you. And I would also recommend that you try to get yourself a seat ahead of time so that you're not stuck in the middle. That way you can either be on the aisle or window for maybe a little bit more leg room, but you want as much leg room as you can. If you're flying economy, that's the cheapest. They do have a couple of others, first class and then a premium economy, where you do have a little bit more leg room and movement. Meals, not too bad, really. The overseas flight, you get 2 meals. You get an evening meal and a breakfast, and then they serve you a snack. And there's also plenty of opportunity for drinks. I would also recommend that you hydrate. You want to make sure that once you've cleared security and going to your boarding gate, that you secure yourself some liquid, whether that be a liter of water or a couple bottles, and store it in your under the seat carry-on. I was able to go with a carry-on suitcase, one of those 4-wheel types with the handle, and then also a backpack. Now, flying over, that backpack went under my seat and I was on the aisle, but coming back, I was able to get the stewardesses to put my backpack up above in the overhead rack with my suitcase. And so I had lots of legroom underneath, sitting in the middle seat. Very fortunate that I did that. The other thing that I would recommend is that you get up and move around a little bit and maybe exercise your legs and stretch. I would suggest at least 3 or 4 times. It is a long trip. Some of you may or may not be able to sleep on the plane. The entertainment is pretty good. Lots of variety in movies and TV shows, and just, plenty that you can do. Charging stations on the plane, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would also say that they give you headsets so that those will assist. You get a pillow and a blanket. Some people bring their own neck rolls on there. I didn't either time, so that was a little rough on my neck, but other than that, not so bad. You're going to fly cheaper if you fly and your time between the 2 flights, the longer it is, the cheaper the flight's going to be. And I would recommend that you probably want at least 2 or 3 hours at the airport that you're going to fly into and transition to your next plane, because sometimes stuff happens and you're cutting yourself a little short for time trying to get from one boarding gate to the other. And we cut her close a couple of times, twice on each occasion. The first time I went over, and then the second time, twice I experienced the fact where I was the last one on the plane. So you got to prepare for that. As far as climate goes, another reason I went over there was to see about the humidity, because I had heard that it was pretty high, a little tough to handle if you weren't used to it. Well, I would say about the humidity and the heat that it's very similar for our situation, just like Arizona and New Mexico and Florida, where you're going there for the winters, for the heat there. It's like getting away from winters in the United States. Our winters are like their summers. During wintertime, we run the heater and run up the electrical bill and gas. Over there, it's just the opposite with the heat and the humidity. So their big bill is going to be in their hottest season. For the most part, you're going to stay indoors fairly close. You're going to be very active maybe early in the morning and late at night. The malls that they have, they're kind of like a supercharged Walmart, where you have a Walmart store for the groceries, a supermarket, and then you have all kinds of stores and shops at various levels. I learned tonight in a board that we did for trivia that there's actually, I want to say, 3 out of the 10 largest shopping malls in the world are in the Philippines. So that was kind of an interesting fact. I know in the United States, the Mall of America is the biggest for us. But what I found over there was that they have also, their shopping malls are called SMs, obviously for the abbreviation. And then they also have a place called SR. And that's very similar to your Sam's or your Costco's, where you buy things in bulk. So, a lot of similarities between the United States and the Philippines for a lot of things. Chicken is real big over there. You're not going to get a whole lot of beef. I will tell you this, that at all of those fast food places that I've showed you, and I'll show you a few more on tonight's episode, they serve chicken at every one of those places. It's, I would say, the number one meal. And their big chain is a thing called Jollibee's. There's a business called Jollibee's, and they serve mostly chicken, and they also serve spaghetti. So there's kind of a different combination there, spaghetti and chicken. Same thing with McDonald's. They do exactly the same thing, chicken and spaghetti. Those are their specialties. You can get a burger. I never did try to get one. Ate a Subway and got a tuna sandwich. So you can get a tuna sub at Subway, and all the regular subs that you would order statewide. And I did get a picture, a video of that to show you. Getting back to why I'm moving over there. Well, number one is cost of living. You can live so much cheaper over there. Your dollar is appreciated. Tips, they appreciate everything that you can give them. To them, $1 is like $1 million. For a lot of the people that work in the service industry, they appreciate, you usually tip them 100 pesos. That's the standard tip usually. And that amounts to about $1 and I want to say 80 cents. So, if you're thinking about tipping, usually we tip a lot higher than that in the States, but because their cost of living is so much cheaper over there, and also their wage, people that work for an hourly wage over there, it's very, very low. So basically two classes of people generally. You have the upper class and the lower class. Now the middle class kind of bounces back and forth, very similar to the United States. Taxes, a lot of the taxing on the highways is done through a toll process. Every time you get off the interstate and you head to a city or town or commonwealth or whatever it is, you're going to pay a tax to get into that area, and then leaving to get back on the interstate, you're going to pay another tax. Now that tax is very minimal. I would say maybe in the area of $2 or $3, but that's how they raise taxes for their highway systems. Roads on streets, I don't know if you were able to catch that on some of the videos, but they're very narrow. There's basically two-way traffic most of the way through the cities. The two-way traffic includes a squeezing area for motorcycle riders. They're very considerate of one another when they're driving. I didn't see a whole lot of road rage, to be very honest with you. They're very courteous. They honk their horn to let you know that you can go ahead and go, or also in appreciation. The appreciation of the people and the culture is one of the things that captured my heart. They take care of their aged over there. I don't think I ever saw a old folks home or a place for people with memory loss. Families generally take care of their elderly till they pass away. And then the other thing is they also are very respectful of handicapped people. They let you go. They help you out. They open the door for you. During the rainy season that we were there, they will hold an umbrella for you as you get out of the car. So, and they'll walk you to the curbside or wherever there's an overhang so that you don't get rained on. I mean, it's just little things like that we take for granted here in the States, but it's a tremendous appreciation over there. And so that's another decision. The family that I went to see, I'm actually going to move into a apartment complex. I've fallen in love. I know that some of you knew my ex-wife. She's an ex-wife now because she's in a memory care facility, and it just had to be that way. Life went that way for us. But that's going to be part of my future, and so I'm sharing that with you. The rainy season, I did not anticipate as much rain as I had experienced when I was over there. I would tell you that we probably had maybe 3 or 4 days out of the month that I was there where we had maybe 8 to 10 hours of sunshine. The rest of the time, most of the days were rain all day, heavy at times. You can see that with all of the flooding that I showed you. There, in fact, is a typhoon, the first typhoon. The others were called tropical storms, but there's actually a typhoon headed that way. So they're going to have more water coming. It just depends on where it heads. The mountainous area caught a bunch of rain. You can tell the difference between the mountain areas and the sea level areas. The temperature difference is almost 20 degrees difference, and the humidity is fairly close, but still the cooler area is up at the higher elevation. traffic-wise on the interstate that they have, the NX, some traffic at times. When the rains came, you could see that it lightened up a little bit, even on the roads through the towns and stuff. There wasn't quite as much traffic, but certainly life doesn't stop. And there's a lot of delays, and we sat in a spot one time for a half an hour. You can get into traffic jams there just as easy as you can in the bigger cities during rush hour, so you'll have the same type of experience. I would say that, I really appreciated everything that I experienced over there, even though a lot of it had to do with the rain and everything. Churches are beautiful. The sites that we did get to see. In fact, I'll tell you that the strawberry fields that we showed you that one day was all underwater within the next couple of weeks. That whole area where you saw, maybe a section of land or so for the strawberries and vegetables is nothing but water now up to the roofs of those greenhouses or whatever they were. But, life still goes on. And I'm going to make it the best I can. Certainly the price of medicine over there, heck, my diabetic monitor ran out when I was over there, so I couldn't monitor my blood sugar. I did have some sticks that didn't fit my manual one where you poke yourself and take the reading with the meter, but so I had to go ahead and, sure enough, their drugstore had what I needed. I did get a case of the diarrhea over there, and the medicine that they had was just as superior as it is here. Imodium, very similar to take care of that. All of the needs that I really had were met, basically. So I don't have any concerns for the future. I did talk to a dentist over there because I know I want to take care of these teeth that I keep having to show you, the ugly ones. I checked out the price here in the States. It was going to be about $60,000 for dentures. And over there, I can get it done for less than 10. So, I mean, that's just a for instance. And as far as the quality, I wouldn't have any qualms saying that it's any different. The hospitals that we drove by, you can see that everything was okay. Ambulances running everywhere, so I know that healthcare is a real big issue there. And like I said, they take care of their people. You certainly can find trouble over there if you're looking for it, just like anywhere else. You go to areas where you don't belong, and you're going to find trouble. The other thing that I enjoyed is that I showed an effort to learn the language. Now, because the Spaniards had the islands before the U.S. Won the Spanish-American War and took possession of the Philippines, there was a lot of Spanish culture, and there's still a lot of Spanish language. And my experience with Spanish and my education assisted me a little bit, because there's still a lot of words that they utilize that are of Spanish nature, and so I could pick that up fairly easily. But English is one of the major languages here, spoken probably by 80% of the people, just like 80% of them are Catholic, so I don't have any problem there with my religion. But the language, you don't have any barriers at all, because for the most part, all of the adults speak English. They start teaching their children, once they get into elementary, they start them in English classes. The other thing that I was going to tell you is that I researched, and there's a possibility that I might open up a tutorial center for mathematics over there and utilize my experience in mathematics and as a teacher. So that may come in handy too. I think that's about all I'm going to cover with this particular episode. I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll go ahead and add whatever pictures I have and include the videos that I've taken so that you can get a few more views of the Philippines. And certainly if you have any future questions or anything that you want to ask, throw it in those comments. I'd be more than happy to. I may get to them right away. If not, be patient with me. I go through it occasionally. I got a lot of stuff going on, so it's going to be quite a process moving here. So with that, I'm going to stop the video, and we'll come back for a little closure.
Sit down, be. Sup ka. Hindi ka pwede sumama doon. Yung may bagyo. O paano ka nga, hindi ka naman marunong.
Hindi nag-swimming kayo?
Hindi sila nag-swimming. Malaking
Nice
tubig.
outlet here, ha? Saan ba yung view mo?
Lagay mo doon, be.
Upang sibain namin ang dati sa una ang kapakanan ng sambayanan. Naway kanilang bigyan ng katarungan ang mga mahina at walang lakas, at huwag payagang maapi ang mga mahirap at walang laban. Sa araw-araw pangalagaan ng kanilang sambayanan at kanilang iligtas sila sa kamay ng masasama. O Diyos, iyong patuloy na panapikin ang kalooban ng aming mga pinuno sa inyo.
This is the CR here. Will you pay?
I can, yeah. Well, there you have it. The last little bit from the Philippines. I think next Sunday I might pick up on my education as far as in the classroom. I'll talk about my life teaching and being in administration and some of that. So I'll share that with you on a more personal note. I will answer any questions that you have. It's been a journey and a process, and I was glad to share that whole month with you, and hopefully you've learned a few things, got to see the country, and maybe found an interest in it like I did. Certainly you can do a lot of YouTube watching and Google research and get your PhD in the Philippines on Google. So with that, this has been Coffee with Cody, signing out.